Hey, it's your boy Chango coming at you with another video. This video is Nick Mullen, The Year of the Dragon, full special, episode 2. If you haven't already, go ahead and watch the first one. I'm like 20 minutes into the special. With that being said, let's get right into it. Dude's pretty funny, by the way, so let's get going on this.
She's just making her chef hat a little bit pointier. She's like, what if it was just a little, I know it's supposed to be poofy, but just a little, just a point, I'm not gonna do the eyes, just the point. I just want the point part of it. You think she's probably not even the worst chef, honestly. I mean, honestly, think about it. Who do you think uses the N-word more? Both hard R and soft A inclusive. Paula, Deen, or Guy Fieri? Who? Which one? Which one? Which one? You know, as soon as those cameras stop rolling, you know they probably have to edit it out a lot. You know he's had like a fucking like triple bacon heart attack breakfast burrito and taken a bite and just been like, oh, yeah, that's a breakfast burrito right there. That is a fucking... They're like, yeah, Guy, you did it again. You fucking... I know it was a soft A, but you probably, I mean, it's the travel channel. I
don't know, right?
You're hurting a lot of hot water with Paula Deen. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so she's a tour guide at this slave owner's house now. And no, it was wild. It was crazy. I was doing this tour, and you're doing the tour, and maybe I'm spacey or something. I just kind of forgot that it was a slave owner's house because they don't really talk about it because it's South Carolina, so they're like, we still kind of think it was good. You know, they don't... Honestly, it was mostly, they're like, this is heart pine. That's what the banister's made out of. And you're like, oh, wow, okay. It was like a Fuddruckers from the 1800s. It's like commemorative plates on the wall and shit. So they don't really talk about the slavery thing until you get to the third floor of the house. And you get to the third floor of the house, and there is a dramatic tonal shift. And the tour guide, she starts getting quiet, right? She starts lowering her voice. And at the time, I thought she was getting quiet due to the emotional severity of what we were looking at. Because when you get up to the third floor, there's nothing on that floor except for this glass display case. And in the glass display case, they have these collars that have numbers on them that the slaves were forced to wear. And everybody's familiar with the history of slavery. But when you see physical evidence of it up close, it's like a very moving experience. You know, you start to cry, you get goosebumps. It's powerful to watch or witness, I guess. And like I said, the tour guide, she's getting quieter and quieter. And she says, and these were the collars that were put on the men and women that were forced to work in this house. And on this floor, we have to keep our voices down because upstairs is the great-great-grandson of the man that built the house. And I'm there with like 5 other people, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, can I have my $15 fucking back? Are you kidding me? What do you mean he's upstairs sleeping at 3 p.m.? Wake his ass up, get him down here. Let's beat him to death with his shoes. That's fucking wild.
That is fucked up.
Okay. That's like if you went to Auschwitz and they were like, that's where the trains pulled in, and you see that little duplex over by the gift shop? That's old Billy Hitler's place. Yeah. Can you believe that? Sort of an Auschwitz miracle. They kept it in the Hitler family the whole time. Made through thick and thin. It's a Hitler property. Anyway, so I guess it's good all those people died of COVID, probably. Because they refused to get the experimental gene therapy. Which they almost got me with that one when they said gene therapy. Because the gene part I have no problem with. Go ahead, turn me into an X-Men, I don't care. But therapy? No thanks, pal. I'm not gay. No. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I do hate therapy, though. I think therapy's bullshit. Because they put it under the umbrella of like medicine, which it's not. Like they're like, oh, that's a doctor. That's not even remotely close to a doctor, right? Because the other doctor, you can go for one thing, you know? Well, actually, they don't even treat that. You go to a regular doctor, you're like, my hip hurts. You're like, no, it doesn't. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I'm imagining things. But you go to a therapist, they always want to dig into shit, you know? You're like, I'm not feeling too good. They're like, interesting. Were you ever thinking about having sex with any one of your family members? No, I just want to talk about the one thing. They're more like a mechanic than a doctor, right? Because they always want to go for the upsell, right? It's always something else. You go to a mechanic, you know, you go in, you're like, yeah, I got a problem with my Toyota. They're like, well, for starters, that's not a Toyota. Here we go. They're like, yep, in fact, it's not even a car. It's just a picture of you being molested. And you're like, what? Well, how much is that going to cost? It's probably going to take years. It's going to be a lot of money. I'm like, I thought it was just a fluid problem. They're like, well, technically, I guess. Sort of, in a way. Yeah. So I can understand why they didn't get the vaccine, I guess. Do you guys care about the vaccine at all? Does anybody care? I don't have an opinion. Good. You still care? Good. I think the pandemic's over. I think it's done. I'm not paying attention to the numbers, but I feel like it's over. I feel like, you know how I know the pandemic's over? Because Me Too came back. That's how I know. As soon as I saw the headline, Andrew Callahan accused of rape, I was like, guys, the sun's out. The world is healing. We're free to live in love again. And some of us are rapists, I guess. We're back to normal, like we've been waiting for, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad it's over, because I full disclosure, I didn't get the vaccine, but I didn't get it because I just didn't want to go to Walgreens. You know? I just didn't want to leave my house. You told me I didn't have to. They're like a chore? Fuck no. I haven't brushed my teeth in 9 months. I don't know what you're talking about. And it sucked. It sucked because there was no room culturally to be a guy that was too lazy to get the vaccine. You couldn't do it. You had no home in culture, right? Because if you tell anyone that got the vaccine and you didn't get it, they're going to think you're a fucking fascist no matter what. And then you can't talk to the anti-vax people because somehow they got their own goddamn science, which was the worst part about the pandemic, was the science and the math. I hated that the most. You try telling one of them, you're like, yeah, I didn't get the vaccine either. They're like, right, because we don't know what's in all this mRNA stuff. And then I have to be like, oh, yeah, totally. That's yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, is the ingredients. There could be fentanyl in it, or I don't know. And I should have gotten it, too. I should have gotten it, because I got COVID like 7 fucking times. I just kept getting it. But it became like an ongoing problem, because it was like, I would be like, okay, what's going to happen? I'm going to get COVID 8 times. And then I would, I'd be like, well, now my eye doesn't work, so does the vaccine bring that back? Otherwise, I don't think I need it. Yeah, I guess I'm just a little stubborn, too. I got a little bad attitude. I got a fucking... Really, I think about it. You know what my politics are? Calvin pissing on anything. Anything at all. Just a picture of Calvin pissing on any word. I'm like, exactly. Those are my thoughts. I was just about to piss on that myself, personally. No, I'm just like stubborn. I think at a certain point, I refused to get it for the same exact reason that to this day I still have not seen The Princess Bride. I think it's the same. It's because the most annoying people I've ever met lose their minds when they find out either one of those facts. They're like, what do you mean you're having? I'm like, I don't know, it sounds like it's for babies. And they're like, no! It's for grown-ups. And it's like, that sounds like you like baby shit, pal. I don't know what to tell you. Sounds like you are into baby stuff. Also, I guess I will say partially I don't really believe the government gives a fuck about anybody's health. As soon as they got involved, I was like, I don't know about that. Because if they did, we would have universal health care, right? They had plenty of time to prove that to us. Plenty of time to prove it, and they blew it. And I believe that health care is a human right? I think everybody should have it, free, easy access. But you have to be careful saying that because it makes you sound like a snob for some reason. I don't understand why. Like, you come off like a snob when you say you believe in universal health care. But I just want to let you know that I didn't come to that opinion by being smart, right? I didn't have to read any fucking books. I didn't have to listen to any Marxist podcasts. In fact, I got to that opinion by being an idiot, because here's what I know, if I know anything about the U.S. economy, is somehow in this country, the rule is you can go to Six Flags for free if you drink enough soda. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. You can show up with a bucket full of empty Diet Cokes and be like, look what I did to myself. And they're like, get in there, pal. Go on in. That's like money somehow. And the hospital should work the same way. You should be able to have empty KFC buckets. Like, I'm dying. And they're like, come on in. We'll guess your weight. We'll fucking put you on some rides. The MRI machine's basically a roller coaster. It's basically Six Flags. I know. But I don't know. I guess I kind of feel bad, too, for the anti-vax people.
Real quick, your boy Chango lives about 40 minutes from a Six Flags. And for like 5 years straight, I had a season pass, but at this point, I'm kind of over it. It's been a while. It's been maybe like 3 years since the last time I went, but before that, I was going a lot. Anyways, I just thought I'd share that. Let's carry on.
And so I feel like I have to defend those people somewhat. And I don't really do it in person, but I do it online through burner accounts on Twitter. Through accounts I make to fuck with people, I guess, on the internet. And I want to tell you about this. I got a lady pretty good online, arguing about the vaccines, right? And she was a Twitter argument lady, so you can imagine what she looked like, right? You know, just the Warby Parker glasses, and you know, just kind of like, not on my watch, like that kind of attitude. And then obviously the Ukraine flag emoji, that's like has to be in there. Which that was another wild thing. That everybody knew what side of that fucking war they were on right away. Here's how dumb I am. I went online, everybody had the Ukraine flag in their profile, and I swear to God, my first thought, I was like, oh, they got a new kind of gay now? They got another one? Yellow and blue? What is that? Is that peeing in the pool? Is that... Am I gay? Am I gay? Because if so, look out, world. I'm a proud pool peer, and I don't care who knows. It's funny, I think about it. That's probably where my conspiratorial thinking started, was when I was a young boy at the public pool. Because you remember that? You remember going to the pool? There would always be like a teacher's pet kid that was like, you know, if you pee in the pool, there's a chemical in the water that turns your pee red, and the lifeguard will see it, and they'll send you to jail, right? And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go to jail. I'm 6. I can't... I'll be raised. I can't be a 6-year-old in jail. I won't stand a chance. I don't know. Right, so you don't pee in the pool, right? And then everybody's getting fucking UTIs because of this one liar, this piece of shit fucking liar. And then halfway through the summer, there's like one brave summer day where you're like, okay, fuck it, I'm just going for it, right? And then you look down and it's fine, and you're like, dude, fuck the government, man. Yeah. 9/11 was an inside job. Now I know the truth. I'll march right up to Donald Rumsfeld and piss my pants in his face. I don't care. I got... What happened to the 9/11 guys? I guess they were just proven right. That's a... Now it's just common knowledge. You just go up to somebody's grandma, you're like, you know George Bush is a lizard? And they're like, yes, I know. They're all lizards, and they did 9/11. I know. I'm fully aware, thank you. The 9/11 conspiracy guys, they had a weird trajectory, right? Because they kind of like, they really just like fell off hard and fast. Remember it was like the year after 9/11, they were producing like feature-length, beautiful documentaries on YouTube. That was the only thing on YouTube when it started. It was like child pornography and and then beautiful 9/11 documentary. And now it's the biggest company in the world. Yeah, they made these great documentaries, and then 3 years after that, a 9/11 conspiracy theorist was just the dumbest guy you know, folding up a $20 bill, trying to show you... trying to show you an optical illusion. Do you know any guys like that? I had a friend that would do that. He'd be like, dude, you gotta see this. This is gonna blow your mind. This is... spends all the time folding up a $20 bill. He shows it to me. He's like, doesn't it look like the tower's on fire? It's like, no, it looks like your parents should switch to direct deposit. I don't know why they're giving you cash to do this with. But that was always so funny to me because it's like, what do you think happened, right? Like the fucking CIA was like, okay, plan's ready to go. Ready to blow up the World Trade Center. There's only one step left. The clues. Yep. Yeah, it's clue time. It's time to get the clues out there, so we're gonna have the Treasury team up with Mad Magazine to create a fold-in on the money to tip off this unemployed man. He's going around, he's like, look, it's the Illuminati. And you're like, actually, it's origami. It's What was I talking about? Oh, right, arguing with this poor woman on the internet about the vaccines, right? So look, I'll say this, only so I don't get this taken down from YouTube. But I don't think there's a problem with the vaccines. I don't really care either way. It's just funny to argue with people. But so, I guess an easy argument to make is, if you get the vaccine and you get COVID, maybe it means it doesn't work, right? But whatever, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. And she was quick to point that out. She said, well, you just don't understand how vaccines work because they're kind of like a seatbelt. They won't prevent an accident, but if you get in one, you're going to wish you had one. And I said, oh, okay, I think I understand what you're saying. So you're saying the pandemic, much like a car accident, probably caused by a Chinese person? Is that? Is that? Because that sounds racist, ma'am. That sounds pretty racist to me. You gotta stop Asian hate out there, which I hope you guys are doing, by the way. I hope you guys are stopping Asian hate. Because I tell you what, someone's hating Asians, and if it's you, cut it out. Just stop. Just stop it. I love Stop Asian Hate. That's like the best hashtag, right? Because it's so direct and to the point. You know what I mean? You can't argue with it. You can almost see the Chinese influence. They're like, dude, stop right now. Just stop. Just stop it. It's just straight through the middle. Just fucking stop. Like all the other hashtags, I agreed with them in spirit, but they were too, wishy-washy. Like Black Lives Matter. Yeah, of course. But you left all lives matter right there for the taking. If it had been hashtag don't kill black people, nobody's gonna be like, well. Hashtag kill black people. That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to share my opinion.
That is fucked up.
Just a psycho with a Jesus fish and hashtag kill black. Well, that's just how I feel. I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah, me too. Me too. Granted, that was the first hashtag, but probably the worst named. They should have put a little more thought into that name than Me Too. Really, that's the name you picked to describe what that movement was? Like, imagine you're telling somebody the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And you're like, and nobody believed me, and I had to be in therapy for years. And then somebody just barges in. They're like, oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, same, basically. Been there, done that, sister.
That is fucked.
It's good. But I don't know. I support all that.
Wow, this dude says some dark ass shit. He goes deep with that fucking transphobic shit and whole abortion, and dude's got some sick jokes. But you know what? That's just the way I like it, right? Anyways, I think I'm going to cut it off here. This is the end of episode 2. Go ahead and like and subscribe so that way you're notified when episode 3 comes out. And it's free right now. I'm running a special, so make sure you take advantage of that. Anyways, that's all I really got. You guys take care. Peace out.